Hello and welcome to this video. Last time we saw the latest SEAC data for the DV 2023 program. Today we will consider the status of the program at the end of August 2023. In this DV 2023 end of August report, we will first take a look at the most recent statistics posted by Statisticious on his website, and then perhaps more importantly, secondly, we will consider the critical aspects of the DV 2023 program that I spoke about in the last video. So now let's go into that. Let's begin with the statistics, and as we did the last time, focusing only on the final row in the table and going from the right side to the left side without considering the total, we see no changes in the transit column. All data in that column remain zero, which we said indicates that flow of cases from KCC to the various consular posts has since ended, which further confirms that no interview notifications are being or will still be sent out in the time still remaining in the DV 2023 program. The red column, interviewing of cases that had already received their interview notifications prior to the end of interview scheduling, continues. So instead of the 13,000 plus we saw a week ago, the red column now shows around 12,000, and that will drop further by this weekend. Then to AP and 221G cases, we see that there has been some reduction in both AP and 221G cases. AP to just under 500 and 221G just under 5,000. Now let me make some clarity here. In the last video, I said that the majority of AP and 221G cases will not be reconsidered and issued as has been the case in previous years for reasons that I explained in that video. Now, some of you understood that to have meant that no AP or 221G cases will be reconsidered and issued. That is not what it meant. It is important to understand things exactly as we say them. Saying that the majority or the bulk or most AP and 221G cases will not be reconsidered and issued does not mean that that is going to happen to all AP and 221G cases. The bulk, majority, most simply means the greater part of the AP and 221G cases. So it is not that all AP and 221G cases will not be considered. It is rather that they won't be considered for the most part, as many of you are expecting or hoping. So I hope that is clear enough now. And finally, to the issued column, where we see that about 53,000 diversity visas have so far been issued out. And that brings us to the critical issues. Now, the critical issues all concern the end game in the DV 2023 program. In other words, how are things going to play out at the end of this year's program? We are all aware that the law provides that 55,000 visas should be issued out every year. But when we consider the table that we just saw, 53,000 visas already issued out, and we have more than 12,000 applicants that are ready to be interviewed, we can conclude that issuance will certainly go beyond 55,000 this year. Now, is that possible? Yes, it is possible, because that is what we witnessed in the DV 2022 program last year. But the big question is, to what extent will issuance go beyond the 55,000? And that is what makes it critical. The law says 55,000. The reality on the ground is that it's going to go beyond 55,000. So how are things actually going to play out in the remaining weeks in the DV 2023 program? That's the big question. At this point, we cannot say how things are going to play out, but Considering the current reality, there are two possibilities. Either interviews will continue as usual up to the end of the program, and eventually we will have more than 60,000 visas issued out. That's the first possibility. And the second possibility is that at some point the visa office may realize that they are acting in violation of the law and may call off some interviews. That is something we cannot rule out, and in case that should happen, the justification will be the usual justification. Being selected in the diversity visa lottery does not guarantee that you will receive a diversity visa. And in that case, those who are the most at risk are those whose interviews are scheduled toward the end of September. So it is either going to be business as usual up to September 30th, and in that case, we will have more than 60,000 visas issued out eventually, or at some point, the visa office may realize the impact that that will have and call off interviews before we get to the very end. As we said, at the moment, we cannot tell what the outcome will be. But whatever the case is, in case you have not yet been interviewed, and I'm speaking about those who have already received their interview notifications, then be prepared for any eventuality, because as we have seen in recent time, almost anything is possible in the diversity visa program. That is something to remember as you go about preparing for your interview. And that brings us to the end of this video. Thanks for watching it. Let's keep our fingers crossed and hope for the very best as we go into the final few weeks of the DV 2023 program. Once again, thanks for watching. See you very soon, God willing, in the next video. Goodbye.